Leading 1-0, trying to make the road to the miracle happen. Right now, we're going to take some time to check in with Casey.
And...
me. Hello.
Oh, and Slacks.
I'm Slacks, and I got a microphone. Very excited.
Are you excited down there? We decided to give you a bit of a different view so you could see just how massive this entire event is.
Oh, yeah. We got the whole crew down here checking us out. Very excited for that game. Casey, whew, this is the grand finals we've been dreaming of for.
Everybody has been saying that they want it to go to 5. Do you think that we have the potential to see 5 games?
Why are you asking me? I'm the stupidest person in the building, but yeah, sure. I love Dota.
Let's hear it from the crowd below us.
Yeah, come on, boys.
And girls.
And girls. And everything in between.
And you've been working on something hard because this is going to be really an amazing series. But after the series, the party continues with you.
That's correct. I'm going to go head over to the late game show now. After this, we've got a fantastic, huge show. The boys, Period, Wheat, Hoppin, and I have been working our butts on it, and you guys get one heck of a show. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to tell you about it, but I will tell you that the winners of the event are going there.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. So head on over. You got plenty of time after the games. And, yeah, this is it for me, though. I'm donezo, boys.
No. You can't be done.
I'm out. So goodbye to you, T.I. I'll see you there. We've had a wonderful year. I'll be watching from late game, producing that bad boy, and I'll see you guys soon. But have fun, Dota.
It's been so fun working with you this week, dude. Thank you.
Here. Let's make it real.
Hi.
Close this thing out.
Back to you, buddy.
Thank you, Casey, and thank you, Slacks, of course. We're going and prepping that late game show that will be coming after the grand finals. A special episode today as we celebrate the winners of TI. Well, we're currently in the middle of the grand finals. 1-0 is the scoreline as the players return to the stage. OG currently leading 1-0, trying to continue defying all odds against PSG.LGD. This is a best-of-5 series, so a potential to go all 5 games. So only 1 game down, not too close yet to the Aegis of Champions, but OG has to be feeling good. We've talked a lot about, I think, not just in this match, but OG, their special picks, you know, do they run out? I mean, BSJ, do you foresee them running out of steam anytime during this best-of-5?
I don't necessarily see them running out of steam, but I do see LGD making the proper adjustments from the first game. I think we see a lot of heroes that are currently picked have synergies with each other. We mentioned from the first series how Enchantress enables Earthshaker because she doesn't need his help, so he can roam. And I think what LGD's goal was to first pick Enchantress, and then they didn't think that OG would take the Earthshaker. And I think that, like they mentioned already, that Earthshaker is going to move up in the priority list. And I feel like if you take that hero away, you take away that playmaking ability, I think the game's just going to look different. And even though I do feel like OG is going to still throw us another curveball.
Yeah, I mean, people just keep saying OG, oh, they're going to run out of steam. They're not the favorites. They came through the winner's bracket. I mean, you guys are thinking LGD's going to take it. And OG, I mean, they just haven't run out of steam, and they haven't. They're 1-0 in the grand finals. Like, they're not going to. They're just not.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've continued to prove everyone wrong so far, so why stop here? Obviously, they're gunning for that victory, looking a lot more relaxed after a 1-game win here in the grand finals. Well, we're getting ready for the draft. We talked about Earthshaker a little bit. We obviously talked about Thompson and his unique hero pool. I mean, on the side of PSG.LGD, what can you do to counteract that, Boba?
I don't think you can care too much about Thompson's heroes. It's very random. He has like 4 heroes, I think. He has his Quaswex Invoker. He has like a random, he has like the Monkey King. He has Arc Warden.
His Pugna.
Yeah, it's the Pugna. I think Pugna's lower rated right now than the other 3, but I think those are his 4. He randomly has like Alina here and there. They're just very, I mean, the thing is they've fit Ana really well. I think Ana has been like one of the highlights of this tournament for me. I think he kind of came in, he hasn't really played the entire season. He came in at the last minute, and he's, I didn't really watch Europe quals that much, but I mean, they kind of steamrolled everyone in the Europe quals, and then they were under the radar for last, and he's actually playing like a god in these games. I think he's definitely the highlight right now of this tournament. He's like, his decision making is insane. I think the role he plays, I think, is probably the hardest right now in the game. I'm sure BSJ can vouch for that. You have to have insanely high decision making to play carry right now. It's like, do I farm this wave? Do I go here? What do I do? It's very stressful, and on a stage like this, and his decision making is insane, I think. He used to be last year, I think he used to be kind of more like a spell casting, you know, OG used to play, like give him a Storm or Ember mid, and then, you know, Alchemist and these heroes, and then he would kind of just play, and it was always his strength, his mid-game team fighting, his mid-game spell casting, his mid-game like item decisions, everything about his mid-game is like amazing, and it kind of throws as well in this tournament. He's definitely like my favorite player actually right now that's from these two teams. Like, everything is, every game you watch from OG, he's like Ana. So,
I mean, going off of that point, in the past and traditionally, carries have a target on their back because they're usually the win condition. They are the late game, and you have, like, they're going to try to kill you all game. They're hunting you, and in the past, you would at least have games where you'd have good starts where you were powerful and you felt like you could just play most of the map. It just mattered where you wanted to play. But now it feels like with that bad start that carries usually get because of these high-pressure dual lanes, you're in this position where there's only one right place to farm on the map. You have to be in the right place at the right time all game, and that's why I go off of Bulba's point that he is honestly impressing the hell out of me as a carry player.
Yeah, I think the EG OG game, right, where Sumail is godlike tiny and just hunted Ana the whole time, but he still found farm like just anywhere, nowhere, anywhere, everywhere. It's insane.
Yeah. And I think OG has kind of played off that in their drafts. I think what LGD might attempt to do is OG has traditionally just been picking Spectres and PLs every game. They're even starting to first round them. They're just saying, we're going to have the superior late game. We may lose the laning stage, but we're going to take our wonky draft, outplay you in the mid game, and we're going to scale better than you. And I think if LGD can somehow try to take away that condition of if it goes late, they lose, I think that it changes the way OG has to play the game.
Like, I think LGD, the two bigs, they might honestly, if they take first pick, they might just do what we did in game 2 versus LGD. They might just first pick the Spectre. Right now, the hero is like, I personally feel game 2 versus LGD, we should have won that game. I think game 1 was much harder for us to win than game 2, but we made a few mistakes in the game and ended up losing. But I think the overall, like, Spectre, you're playing TI, you're like some top 3 team, you have like millions of people watching. And so much is on the line, and then you're playing versus Spectre, and Spectre's good in the patch. You know, it's kind of it's a very easy hero to play around. He has his ult. You let it suddenly see everyone on the map. Your spellcasters can use your spells like very easily. It's so easy to play with the hero. And I'm not saying that, you know, but in a TI in general, you want to, like, you know, you want to have a hero to play, right? It's just like last year with Liquid when they would pick an anti-mage when anti-mage was good. It's a very easy hero to play on last year. But in general, it's you're on a timer. It's always been like this since TI2 days. You play versus some Burning and you play versus some Spectre timing. So.
All right, well, we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, OG currently leading 1-0 against PSG.LGD here in the Grand Finals.
PSG.LGD versus OG. Grand Finals, Game 2.
And we're off to the draft. So it sounds like some heroes that have definitely taken a lot more attention as we progress through TI. Earthshaker coming up high. Spectre now being a high contention point. And we've seen other heroes come in and go as well. Find out if OG continues to throw any curveballs or if they're going to maybe take it a little more standard and see what LGD's got in this second game.
Oh, there's the first ban Spectre.
Get him out.
All right.
Yeah. So OG's first pick this game, and what are their first picks? They like Silencer a lot. They like No-Tail plays like 3 or 4 heroes right now. He plays like Spectre, Chen, Furion. Oh, sorry, he doesn't play Spectre. He plays Chen. Yeah, he plays Silencer, Chen, Furion, and I guess the random Wyvern came out. But most of the tournament he's been playing these 3, and then they usually open the hero, and then they kind of counterpick from first pick. So probably they might just also bust out the Ensh as well. They've played it once or twice, but let's see what they do.
I think the Tiny ban is good, especially against LGD. We've seen him play in support and then middle, right? Like, that hero doesn't lose the first couple waves of middle, right? You just deny every creep with a tree, and all of a sudden, doesn't matter what it is, you just don't lose the lane.
Yeah. It fits LGD's playstyle because when they pick Tiny, they send him mid or a safe lane, like you said, and usually they go aggressive tri lane, and it's just hard to really stop the safe lane Tiny from farming. So OG bans their own. They ban the silencer. So now there's there's Wish Gyro left. There's Enchantress left. There's like a few heroes there.
Or Shaker.
Yeah, Shaker as well. Just depends. I'm not sure if LGD, if OG wants to play versus LGD's Wish Gyro. I think they lost game 1 yesterday to OG's Wish Gyro. So, yeah, I think OG had the Wish Gyro and LGD had the Drow Weaver strat, right? Yeah, that was a good game.
What about Weaver? I mean, EG would first pick it no matter what, but are none of these teams concerned about it?
It's just like every team kind of values different heroes. Right now, there's no real like super OP heroes for everyone going into this tournament. You know, every team had a few select heroes. There is no like, you know, Leshrac of TI5. There is no, what is TI6? So TI6, there was like Timbersaw and Void that was really broken. TI7, there was Furion that was broken. And right now in this TI, there's no real like super broken hero. I think it's very balanced. I think right now the entire year. So Wisp for OG.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's the ENG and Earthshaker.
This is the exact same thing that happened in game 1 of our match versus LGD.
Yep.
We picked Wisp and they took ENG Shaker and then we took Gyro. So as you said in the back, as I said in the back, FY wanted to play Shaker. So he got a Shaker. Yeah.
You just have to be careful because the safe lane is rough now, as we've already mentioned. And if they end up losing their safe lane, the Enchantress becomes independent, and this Earthshaker can snowball the other lanes. Something I'd like to see potentially is that they pick cores in the other 2 lanes that won't die to a fissure. I think if they have that threat on LGD against OG here, then it's just going to make OG's game a lot harder to play, like the recover game that they want to play. Because I don't think there's any way you can win this lane unless you start the lane tri-lane. Like, that's something we've also seen some other teams do against Enchantress, because she's a hero that always out-sustains you. So why not just try to kill her? Otherwise, you just have to try to weather the storm.
You can't, you don't want to go tri-lane with Wish Gyro versus ENG. I think you're putting too many resources in a lane you're going to lose at some point anyways, right? So, and no matter what, this Entry is going to get Fisher Block, so he's going to get experience. So right now, the way OG, their first pick, so probably they're going to third pick Jerax's hero. I think Ana will most likely play the Gyro, obviously. So interesting to see what Jerax plays. His most played heroes kind of been Shaker this tournament, right?
He's played a lot of Lena as well. Yeah. Like, it's one of those picks they just keep throwing in there. Yeah.
I'm not as fan of the Lena support as much as the Shaker, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't really...
But both teams can't have Shaker Bulba.
Yeah, true.
Not wrong on that front. Waiting for PSG.LGD's next pick.
Wait, I forgot. Jerax plays the Wisp, but they need a no-tail hero, sorry. So no-tail is probably going to play Bane, maybe? Or he might go for the Wyvern again?
The Wyvern's nice against Enchantress because allies don't get slowed by Untouchable. So it gives you a kill potential, like a setup on Enchantress at any point if she has a core standing next to her. I think that's why a lot of teams are prioritizing that hero.
Yeah, this is the same opening 3 heroes that LG did versus us again, the Bane. Now they're going to fourth pick, they can see Ame's or Maybe's hero. They usually like saving Maybe's hero for last unless they see the mid matchup. And now No-Tail needs a hero. His Bane got stolen. So what else does he have here? Maybe Wyvern.
You need a stun to disable, right? I thought in your game, right, the Bane had free reign. You had a rocket and then an unstable concoction. You had like no stuns. His Bane just had a free game, and I think you have to get something.
Vengeful Spirit, maybe Wraith King are heroes.
It might be Venge. Don't think they can pick Wraith King.
Oh,
okay, they picked Invoker.
All right.
Third pick.
Yeah, securing that early.
Interesting.
Yeah, usually you wait for picks like that for the fourth pick, just because they only have 1 response pick instead of 2. But now they can choose to lane counter mid and then counter your other core in the last pick.
I think LGD should maybe go for like Clinks here. They have a very strong Clinks. They might also pick Weaver. Right now, like you said, OG doesn't really have many stuns. Clinks is really good versus Gyro as well in the game. So, okay, they pick PL. Okay, it's a good matchup versus Gyro late game, right? So, and they definitely want the better late game matchup, it seems like. They don't want to be on the timer versus OG.
It's nice to have a hero
like the Treant. It's hard to really guess, but he's played like offlane Wyverns, he's played Treants, he's played very random heroes throughout the tournament.
He's just their utility, right? Like we need a stun, you're going to play it. We need some crazy hero. Well, have fun, Seb.
Yeah, we've seen some of them go to success, some of them maybe not so much, but obviously game one working in favor of Seb and OG.
Yeah. Notel's trying to think about what to play now.
They need like a space maker, I think. But the problem is nothing really matches up solo against the Enchantress. Like that's what enables LGD to aggressive tri-lane. You can't just say, we're going to put this hero solo off lane, even though we have the counter pick, and we're just going to win the lane against Enchantress if they were to do that. They don't have that option.
The thing is the Quaswex Invoker kind of is a playmaker, so they might, since Jirax is playing the Wisp, they might want the PL. Okay.
Wow.
I think Vici Gaming was like the only other team even picking this hero at this tournament. Snake King as well.
I personally like the pick a lot. PL suffers against this hero because he builds natural items like Crimson Guard and damage reduction, and PL actually has damage items until he gets to the mid to late game. And also you have this Gyro hero that's probably going to have a rough start, spend his time recovering. Invoker's going to run around the map looking for kills, as Boba mentioned. So you need a hero that's actually pushing in the lanes, pressuring towers, so that it creates places on the map for Invoker to play. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just pick a support that is meant to just take the dangerous farm on the map. Like Wyvern would be a perfect example that we've already mentioned. Something that just can defend towers, that will enable the Invoker to rotate to this Underlord. And this Underlord is their space maker. He is the guy that needs to have a good start. Otherwise, I feel like the map will completely collapse on OG before they have time to recover on heroes like Gyro, because I can't imagine him winning his lane.
Wyvern gets banned out, so OG ain't getting it.
I mean, yeah, he's going to go for the early Crimson, and they're just going to try and be really fat at some point, move as a ball, and hope LGD doesn't do enough damage. My problem with this hero, he's like, if they put Enchantress top and the PO and aggressive, he's just going to lose his lane. Like, he'll go even versus Ench, and then when Ench gets 6, he can't lane versus Ench anymore. And the hero is just really bad at versus Ench in general in the game. And but I think they're just banking on the Wisp Gyro being good versus Ench. Ench is a very weird hero. Like I like this draft a bit more from LGD in the last game because they have the PO to back up the Ench as well. And right now, I do think LGD's late game. Like, let's see what they last pick. They want like a maybe hero mid. It's probably a good matchup for this Invoker. He likes playing heroes like Queen of Pain and stuff. It could be a good quap game, like you said as well. It'll give a very good lane for Shaker to roam to. He likes playing Mirana.
I mean, the team fight, right? OG again. Like they have the way better team, but you have like the Shaker on one side. Like, can you just take it when they 5-man? Well, disrupt it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of team fight.
I'm not a huge fan of OG's draft this game. I think I like LGD's. I think it's much more suits the patch right now, or suits right now what happened after game 1. Like OG has this Underlord, and yeah, you're saying it's good versus PO, but the hero, there's a reason the hero hasn't been doing so well in this tournament. He's like he's kind of nerfed. And
yeah, I just look at both teams late game, and I think that you've mentioned they're going to struggle in the lanes, and I just feel like last game OG had the trump card late game with the Spectre, and I think once again they don't have it this game. I think PL is the late game win condition in this team. Like if it goes late, he's going to be the strongest hero in the game, and I think that just favors LGD to avoid what happened last game.
Yeah.
All right, well, the draft wraps up. That is going to be game 2 getting underway. Seems like perhaps PSG.LGD coming out on top a little bit, but we're going to check in with Casey and the coach of PSG.LGD.
Hey there, yeah, we're here with 357, and Helen's going to help with the translation. What do you think of OG's draft?
It's good.
What do you think of your draft?
Good too.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you, Helen. Great work. Best of luck. Thank you.
There we go. Both teams' drafts are good. Well, let's find out how they pan out in the game with Odie, Fogg, and Merlini.
Thank you very much, Trevor. So a good draft from both sides indeed, and I have to agree. We're seeing some exciting stuff come out. We're seeing OG turn up in the grand finals. They're picking Underlord. They're picking Disruptor. These heroes that we haven't really seen that much. Underlord in particular, it's just not had a lot of success, but it's coming out here in game 2 of the grand finals.
I can understand why they picked it. You know, they wanted to have something that can deal with that PL in the mid game, some ways to catch him, and also they absolutely needed wave clear. He's pretty much their only wave clear in this early game until they start building up some more items.
Well, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, game 2 between PSG.LGD and OG. Kicking off here in Vancouver as we are going to see what goes down. OG, it certainly seems, guys, that you sort of said it to me, Fogg. They've turned up with strats. They're turning up with something that no one else has been doing. It's got them this far, and they're still pulling new tricks out of the hat. I mean,
they definitely had a lot prepared. You could tell they were very adamant about just over-preparing for the majority of their teams, and they had so much time. With Seb, with their coach, I can't say his name properly, but...
Passerelle.
Yeah. They said it. They've been staying up like all night getting ready for this, and they got to see LGD earlier too.
You know, I didn't realize that guy was the same guy on TEG so long ago.
Yeah.
We actually used to play against him so long. I thought that guy disappeared off the face of the earth. But
here he is, grand finals. Yeah, coaching OG and doing certainly, as we're seeing with the strats, a very good job of it. But overall, Ben, you do look at the 2 drafts and you consider what we've seen sort of just overall in this meta, and you have to feel that PSG.LGD's lineup, it's a more robust one. It's one that just makes a little bit more sense, right?
if you weren't looking at the teams, but OG has had a lot of success with heroes that haven't been picked, and a lot of times you're just not really used to playing against these lineups and these heroes. And I mean, they do have pretty good ways to deal with it on the side of LG. I think the Kunkka in particular is really good versus Wiz, but you know, that was back in the days when people used to defensively relocate out. You pretty much can't do that anymore.
Yeah, the Kunkka though for me is such a good pick for several reasons. It's versus that IO. It's very good when you use your ulti. You actually can absorb majority of the flak when Gyrocopter uses the flak cannon. You really negate majority of that damage, and then of course we have the X that can come into play. The glimpses, the relocates that do come out, you can actually find some really good pickups or saves on your teammates when you're trying to back off from pushing. The matchup, Thompson is actually starting with the Exort. Secured.
Easy CS. And certainly all eyes on Thompson. We've known him to obviously whip out the old Meteor Hammer build. We'll be interested to see if he does keep with that one here in the grand finals, as he brought it out the other day, and it certainly looks, it's an incredible treat to see live on the stage.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna, I'm imagining he's gonna do like that new build that we're seeing. Just like the 2-0-2, maybe then start getting some points in Wex after that. But for the most part, I do see Thompson like almost exclusively go for that cross Wex build. So it does look like Bobo was also right with those lanes. They did put the Chalice Enchantress down bottom versus that Underlord and having an aggro tri-lane to pressure this kind of weak tri-lane that OG is running right now.
Look at this FY, looking for the wraparound. Yes, the three-man Fisher blocking them off. X-Nova trying to move in and get the vision onto Ana, but they're turning with the Rocket Barrage. The Thunderstrike, X-Nova to drop, but Arme gets the first blood for PSG.LGD. The trade will occur, and PSG.LGD, of course, getting that first blood, and not only just onto anyone, but onto Ana as well, getting him out of the lane. Great start to this aggressive tri-lane of PSG.LGD.
How important do you think, Fogg, it was to take the hands of the Shaker away from Jirax?
I was saying before we went into the series, I thought this was going to be the most contested hero between them, because I think even FY has had spectacular games on this hero throughout the entire tournament. So yeah, I do think that's definitely the hero of this series.
So the CS goes this time around in the mid lane at the moment. 11 for 3 on Somnus's Kunkka against the 4 for 1 of Thompson. Somnus having a very, very strong start to the mid lane matchup.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the lanes in particular coming out from OG. Bottom, Seb can do decent in the lane phase, but until once that level 6 hits on Enchantress, you are completely zoned out. You actually can't even walk up, and it hurts you throughout like all stages of the game. The mid matchup is really good versus for Kunkka, as well as you can bully Invoker because you have like that low base damage.
He went for 2 points in Quas, over 1 point in Exort. Is just not able to keep up with that Tidebringer damage from maybe getting doubled in CS. It's tough. Force Spirit even not super useful in this matchup.
Yeah, it actually can die pretty easily.
Look at this top again, FY. See if we can find for the setup round the side. As OG do start to move in. Look to put the harassment down on Tame. FY holding onto the Fisher for now. Lets it out onto No-Tail. As No-Tail's been caught away from the rest of his team. Arme goes in with the Spirit Lance, cut the finish off. He's got the stick charges. No-Tail being tethered, kept alive, finally falls. Ooh. So does FY. They get the 1-for-1 trade up top.
Jirax with a misclick there.
Whoops, that wasn't my stick.
Yeah, he clicked the TP instead of it. Oops.
Well, better him than Gyro dying.
Yep.
As FI will, of course, come straight back in, but at the moment, indeed, in CS, 13 for 3 on the Gyrocopter compared to the 5 for 4.
They're actually getting very good last hits up top. They have that triple range, which is the benefit for them, but the pressure that can come out from PSG because of that Earthshaker blocks is where the kills are threatened a bit more.
Again, Sunstrike doesn't really help out too much. It's only level 1.
Yeah. He's already picked up a point in the Wex.
Definitely will be a very slow start, though, for Topson, as we can still see. Somnus, 21 for 9 against that 10 for 3. The lead just getting bigger and bigger in this 1v1 matchup.
I haven't seen him do this so much on the Kunkka, the double bracer. He does this on a lot of his mid-strength heroes. He's done it on the Dragon Knight a few times, too. Just getting that high base damage and high health. I mean, this is a Kunkka with 1,347 health already.
Yeah, his health is just insane this early in the game. I mean, is he going to be able to stay in lane after a certain point? He doesn't have enough regen from the quads. He doesn't have max quads, so he is getting ticked down a lot.
He might get, I think he's going to get the 3rd point in the quads, too. It pumps you up to like 19.7 HP per second.
But even then, can he last hit at all? He doesn't have Drow or anything, really. No support at all in the mid lane to help him. There's a Force Spirit, but that thing is going to get cleaved.
Every single time. Yeah, the harassment's really going to build up, and Somnus is going to get 6 way earlier as he keeps continuing to kill these Force Spirits.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Definitely a
attack.
concern in that laning phase. Top, though, yeah, the Gyrocopter's still able to get some farm, and they're not giving up so many kills. As we do see No-Tail in position for some type of wraparound here.
This is what FY also looking to play aggressive.
Did we get it?
Oh, they do! The slap of the right click between the two of them finds the curry. They now look towards Ana. Ana is sort of trapped over the Fisher, but he's got the back of a Jerax. Now moving in on top of X-Nova with the right clicks. The OG get one. FY and Arme now have to be on the tree. They have the doppelganger. Arme with the stick charges back up to 4, but the glimpse is out. Onto FY, dragging him back behind the 3 of them. Fisher, once again, though, down onto No-Tail. Enchant Totem as well. FY's bringing No-Tail low, but the stick charges keep him fine as FY will fall. The 3 of them still strong. Arme also in trouble as well as the Thunderstrike. The Rocket Barrage bringing him down. He turns with the Spirit Lance. Can Arme stay alive? He can't. Arme will fall. And Nova, can he actually find Ana here? The tail heals there for Jerax. Ana's not going to go down. And X-Nova is also going to play with his life.
The IO just getting away pretty much with murder, just sitting in the back lines there, eats some of that AoE damage, so has health loss and always has these stick charges, constantly getting the perfect tether usage just to go back and forth saving their heroes. And oh. I also, during all that, I really like what Seb has been doing on the Underlord down bottom. He picked up a bottle and he's actually just trying to cut creep waves and farm the small camp, so he's not actually in the position to just eat those obnoxious impetuses that would normally happen. I think this is the perfect choice for him.
Top lane, they've got the level and homing missile now, as they can never go on to Arme. He's holding on to the doppelganger, ready for the dodge. We'll be able to get himself back to safety, but in terms of CS, he is now starting to get ahead on that top lane Arme. So despite the constant pressure of OG, he's still farming that little bit better than No-Tail, especially when you consider, sorry, Ana, considering the denies between them.
He is fighting level 6 on maybe he can try and interrupt top lane or bottom or mid lane. I think they need a kill in one of these.
On top lane again, OG strike. They look to Arme. Nightmare will come out from X-Nova, but it's not going to save at the same time mid. They make the play. Straight in. FY held Somnus set up for the kill onto Topson.
Such an insane amount of damage coming in from this Kunkka. Almost level 8 already. With face boots as well as that double bracer.
There's about a level and a half difference between him and Topson at the moment, as Somnus just continues to climb ahead. Top lane, though, this action just doesn't stop as X-Nova, he's getting dove upon OG. They get the kill. Chalice and Arme see if they can find something in return, but No-Tail's TPing out. The Fisher will come out from FY, so No-Tail held back, and they also pick off Jerax in the trees. So LGD will punish OG there for that dive.
I love that, the rotation by Chalice there, just TPing. They know that they're overextending. They actually get a huge kill there. Ame picks up the bounty off of Jerax, 337 gold.
What kind of build do you think that the Underlord should be going for this game?
I think it's just the Crimson Guard as fast as possible. I don't know if he's going to get the mech first. I'm wondering, or before the IO goes for it. Because we've seen the IOs tend to go for that in majority of the games. But he might be put in an option where he can. But I think the Crimson Guard is probably the best one versus that Phantom Lancer.
The Phantom Lancer is really underfarmed, though. Do you think it really does need it? I think the Kunkka and the Ant are going to be doing way more damage, where the Vanguard is not super useful versus that.
Well, the Crimson Guard actually does block the cleave from the Kunkka, which is kind of a neat interaction that can come out. So that could help a little bit, but I think I don't know which one he wants to go for first.
Topson. Oh. He went in invis and then he came out of it. They had him under the tower. They dive in and find the kill.
Well, he said it all there with a whoops.
Bit of a mistake there, costing Topson his life as he tried to come up top after struggling in the mid lane, looking to find some action. and he just doesn't get it. And at the moment, you can really sort of see how his net worth is suffering. He's level with Jarek's as well. Of course, Jarek's, he's 4-1-4. So he was having a great time up top in terms of getting involved in those kills. But Thompson's certainly going to need time this game to catch back up.
They're continuing this dive. There's TPs coming through from the Bane.
FY will look to juke around the trees. He's got the stick charges, as he'll be fine. As X-Nova, Chalice TPing in. We'll see if X-Nova can find any sort of set at the same time. Mid-Somnus, cold snap for Thompson coming into play. Somnus has got the bottle charges. He's got the movement speed. With that haste rune, he is out of there. The Thunderstrike will not be enough to finish him off. So Somnus keeps himself alive.
Look at X-Nova's net worth. He doesn't even have boots. I feel for the guy.
Yeah, he's a Bane. It's a good game for the Bane either way. Just the Enfeeble alone, once he starts getting more levels, I think is going to be the most important thing for him. You just keep throwing that Enfeeble on Gyrocopter. It's something we saw a lot through the DPC of how people were dealing with the hero.
Radiant are scanning.
Sep will be here down on the bottom to start to alleviate some of the pressure being put on by Chalice and FY.
Would you prefer that he go for the pipe first in this game?
Maybe mech. I think mech helps
for the mech
versus all sorts of damage. Because you're having, pure, a lot of physical, a lot of magical, so in which case HP would be a lot better, but I don't know, it's just a tough call, because there are different types.
Tries to TP out, but he's not going to make it. FY in with the sun, Hotel's TP'd in, he could be in trouble as well. He'll pop down the kinetic field and will just get himself away, living on 15 HP towards the mid. X-Nova with the EMP dodge, the backup from Chalice coming in as they chase down Thompson. Thompson, he's running, but the rainbow's all the way, taking down the Invoker. Chalice now dominating as it's his top of the net worth on his Enchantress.
The dodge looked cool, but also prevented Thompson from getting enough mana to do anything else after that. He just had a bounce and he just getting wrecked in his bottom lane.
8 for 8 at the moment, but in terms of net worth, LGD with a 4K advantage, all 3 cores leading the way. And this time, of course, without a Treant in the game, they're having a much easier time at taking these early Tier 1 towers away from OG.
And they've taken those 2 towers already, and look at their warding. They've already positioned wards deep to be able to watch any of the movements that OG does, or any of the smokes that they even want to set up to try to look for these kills to catch them back up. It's 10 minutes in, they're already at a 4K deficit.
Mid lane. Put the homing missile out onto Somnus, but he's got the Invis ring. He's back underneath his tower, and he's got X-Nova sat behind him. If OG did look to dive, but OG, they'll make the line drawn up top. They want to try and look towards Armin. Maybe see if they can catch out the PL.
2 clutch runes coming out there for the Kunkka. The haste rune is, and then the Invis rune right after that, saving him from the dives that could happen.
How do you think they get Thompson back in this game? Just take good fights and try and play around the Wisp?
Chalice.
I think so, yeah. I think he has to get his
Oh, he's found another.
It doesn't seem like he can really do anything in the fights. If he shows himself, he just gets jumped, and then he's also just too low level to do that much damage of his own. But he's also not Quas Exor, so he can't really farm jungle too fast.
It's really tough because they're on the back foot, and we've said this time and time again. When you have a disruptor on your line and you're on the back foot and you're just getting ran at, it's really hard to actually get any setup for the glimpse plays. And the Invoker in this game, who's he actually going to go for a kill to build up his earn charges? It's really just like the Bane and the Earthshaker early on.
Tries with the Tornado EMP, but Chalice keeps the distance, now turns towards Noto. They get the glimpse play onto Somnus, but Somnus, he's got the boat coming in. He has that Rumbo. The cooldown comes through from Anna. Is it enough to find a kill onto Somnus? It is. They get one. The homing missile redirects itself on top of Chalice. Chalice has the heals going. He's turning with the impetus. He actually gets the kill on Noto. They'll relocate the team back out of there. So OG not really wanting to commit everyone to this fight. It's Chalice, FY, they turn. Echo Slam, Fisher out onto Anna. They burst down the Gyrocopter in Chalice. He's already looking for more. He's trying to chase down Jarek, but Seb's there with the body blocks. We'll keep Chalice back, but Chalice just getting so much done on this Enchantress. He's 6-0-1, just getting kill after kill, and he is sailing ahead this game.
I think Jarek's brought Thompson back to the top lane, maybe for an efficiency play to farm that open lane, but at the same time, they're getting outnumbered down here.
And they're going to get more action as well. The final impetus not quite enough. Seb's still alive, gets a Firestorm out. They'll finally fall. X-Nova may die for this. He's got the Nightmare dodge. They'll get him out of the tower range. That tower hit. It went back to him. Wasn't able to successfully de-aggro in time. So it does go down, but still. Seb falls. He's the core. And Chalice just continues his reign on this game.
And they're just keeping this pressure on, and it's giving so much space for Ame just to kind of have his own game. Just free farm in the sides, farm some jungle.
And he definitely needed it after the start.
Yep.
He's very grateful. And Ame, I think, is one of the best players about using that, like that 8 to 20 minute space where carries really need to maximize their farm. He's one of the best at it.
They're stalking him right now. They have vision with the ward, but quick double down.
This is kind of reminds me of the Luna game that we saw earlier where he just got destroyed in lane, but, just needs a little bit of time, then he's right back in. It's number 2 on net worth.
Chalice. One hit and a third of Anna's health.
This is just such a great display by Chalice. This Enchantress pick too. It was the first pick, but
Nova holding Thompson in place, allowing the impetus to fly in from Chalice. They're starting to storm ahead this game. PSG.LGD as they lead 13-10, 6K advantage. OG, they have to do something big to swing this one around as Thompson is just getting knocked further and further behind on his Invoker.
And he's the Qualifers Invoker. He wants to be the one making the plays around. He can't really just catch up through farming, so they have to find a way to kind of group up and take these fights. But at this disadvantage, it's super hard versus LGD's lineup when they are especially almost going to have a Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker soon.
Well, he's trying to call in for a relocate, it seems.
With a catch here, with the kinetic field, and get the Fisher out onto two of them, and the slam F5. He's trying to walk it off. The glimpse will be there, bringing him back into them as he does finally fall, but he certainly gives it his all before he goes.
Do they get the X?
Is going to come in.
X.
They get the X play. He's coming back at it. There's no escape, I'm afraid, as LGD get the gyrocopter.
The big difference between this game and last game is that JRX can't really go around making plays. He's whizzed. He's pretty much bound to the gyrocopter the entire game. Big Daddy,
Chalice. He's fine.
And Big Daddy's trying to do stuff on his own, but he just simply can't. Thompson.
Oh, God. Not again.
He's got
dust is there.
He's prepared.
Oh, Thompson. How he falls time and time again here to Somnus's Kunkka.
0 and 5, a rare sight to see from Thompson as he's been excelling at this tournament.
And a little bit of that goes back to the tri-lane at the start, where they really can't devote any resources to help Thompson out, and he was just getting destroyed in that matchup. Invoker needs some time to ramp up, even across Wex.
Yeah, and it's so hard because we want to see the support trying to make moves, but with the two heroes that they have, like IO can't really make moves. They have to play around the relocate, so it has to be the Disruptor and the Invoker running around just looking for these relocate plays. But at this point, it's just so hard with LGD's advantage, as FY is going to have that Blink Dagger finished up top very soon, and they're just keeping the pressure on it. We see X-Nova always in position to get those aggressive wards down to see where OG wants to try to catch up.
And they have to be really concerned for OG, as PSG mentioned. I think LGD have the better late game with that PL.
Yep. And they've got all this, like, the damage mitigation that coming from the Rum versus that Gyro. It's looking problematic.
They just need, one or two good combos with the Invoker if someone can set it up for him. But the problem is the LGD are generally approaching from multiple angles, as we saw them coming for the Invoker in the mid lane with the Fiend's Grip from the side and everyone else coming from the front. It's just really hard to catch LGD clumped.
Thompson, double tornado. EMP connects on Somnus.
Got to be careful about getting range at Chalice. The Chalice does force forward trying to get him, but Thompson's out of there.
They steal all the Ancients that were there to try to catch this Gyro back up. As Seb is getting farmed up, at least keeping that pressure going. Panel said he's the one who has to be doing this, forcing those towers, trying to get that wave clear constantly to set up for his team to make plays, and he'll rift away as he is going to be going back for that pipe after just his Vanguard.
He can't even feel safe for a lot of the game doing this play too, because they do have the X, so it counters relocate, but also the Dark Rift. So I'm not sure how much they can split push their way to victory.
With that Blink Dagger now in his inventory, ready to go. He looks to set up on top, jumps in with a Fisher. Jax is going to instantly TP away there. No chance of Chalice finishing him off.
Nice early Glimmer Cape, at least on the IO, to try to save himself or his teammates when they go for those aggressive plays, but they're still just heavily on the back foot as the lanes start to push onto OG's side.
Thompson still sitting fourth lowest on the net worth for the moment on his Invoker. He has a long way to go if he is to recover this game.
It's one of those games like, are you really sure I should build Urn? I'm not sure if I'm going to get any kills here.
Big Daddy notes out. Looking for Ame down bottom. He's got him with the Static Storm, but it's going to wear out. So Ame, he can doppelganger up, but the homing missile, of course, will prevail.
Urn charge acquired.
Nice. There he goes. He was getting that danger territory. He's about even on net worth with the Shaker. So that's a little bit scary, but just takes a couple of team fights for them to get back into play. But LGD, they've been kind of doing a good job of making sure that Underlord is not the one in front. Usually Underlord is your big buffer in between your weaker heroes in the back, but they just come from all sides. They can swoop down on the IO in particular and the Invoker. None of them feel safe in the fights.
And they always know where everybody is because of all these aggressive wards they've got down because of taking those towers early on. So right away they see Gyrax for a moment stepping outside. They start running at this IO immediately.
And they know they have wards, but they just can't find them.
Yeah. Some pretty unique ones coming out here, especially the one on the right side of that jungle.
Mid lane, Seb. He's got the pipe, will turn, tries to root down the two of them, but Chalice forces himself out. The glimpse back will be there onto F5, but actually sets up a bit of an echo slam. Still, the damage is enough from OG. Is Jarek still alive for now? They look to chase down Chalice. Here comes Somnus looking for the angle. Out it comes onto Anna, gets the damage out. The boat flying through as well. The Glimmer Cape on Anna is enough to keep it safe. No, the X-Mark drags him back into the tide. He's still alive for now. Anna, can he survive throughout this all thanks to Jarek? Oh, he can't! Anna will go down.
The sleep on the Underlord. You saw Seb trying to run toward his teammates. He just gets slept. He can't bail them out.
Another successful fight there from PSG.LGD, as you could see OG trying to set up, glimpsing the shaker back. And sure, FY does go down, but he gets his skill set off. He's able to buy that time for the rest of PSG.LGD and come into look and fight. But Somnus just get trapped, but he was able to X himself before the glimpse. Gets himself back away. That classic counterplay there to the glimpse that we'll have to look out for this game.
That was OG's reveal of their pipe as well. So that's why you saw the echo came out. It was good for disable, but the damage wasn't so much. And they still aren't able to actually take that one.
It's top lane Chalice.
They've got a DD in Somnus' bottom. He's heading toward this top fight.
Meanwhile, Ame doesn't really want to be involved.
Yeah, he's just farming.
Trying to beat that late game trump card.
He's really setting ahead all three cores of PSG.LGD at the 9K net worth mark at the moment. Closest as we can see on OG side being that of Anna's farm on the Gyro console.
Hey, this is like the best feeling as a carry player. You're just like, thank you, team. I'm over here too, by the way, killing some creeps.
Radiant are scanning.
As the Maelstrom is finished up, yeah, as you mentioned on Anna, Jarex does have the 25% experience now. It's still 4 levels away from that big level 15, which they're really going to need. Fly. They're smoked up. They're looking for this fight. The DD on the Kunkka is available.
Nightmare there from X-Nova. Going to mess up the combo potential from No-Tell as he gets cleaved down there by Somnus. A quick cut with the Tidebringer. Chops him apart. Jarax will take Anna out of this. Gets him away from PSG.LGD's movement. We'll see if they are prepared for Jarax on the return. As you can see, FY hunting for the location, and he has found it. He's ready. Jarax will come back in. He's got some time with the Glimmer Cape, but FY knows that he's around, goes for the stuns. The Torrent comes out from Somnus. They'll get Jarax.
Still work. Yeah. Makes him buy some time, some space for Seb to also keep pushing top, get those lanes out, saves his gyro.
This Enchantress is destroying them now, but I think later they will have enough damage, especially with the Axe Tether for the Gyrocopter with a Maelstrom, plenty of magic damage there, and then once Invoker, you know, they will drop some Meteor combos. I think they can take her down, but right now Chalice is running all over.
Yeah, they've still got a lot of time too, because Thompson is actually fully committed for like, more points in Quas and Wax, so it's only actually the 1 point in the Exort, and he is a long, long ways from that Aghanims.
The tower taken here by the push of Chalice. Seb completed Crimson Guard, now ready and upon him, as we saw as well the BKB for Somnus just getting shipped out as well.
Albert next for Seb, it looks like, to deal with Chalice. Maybe even Kunkka.
Yeah, can move for both.
Stop. Oh, deny from FY.
In between the cold snaps, and Somnus on the hunt. Oh, they get the Ghost Walk off though on Thompson.
Nice little play there from FY. Thompson trying to set up with that combo to make sure that he gets the last hit, but wasn't successful. And now, OG do find X-Nova heading up the ramp into the jungle of OG, as they will. The 3 of them take down the Bane. Make sure that he doesn't get away with his little warding journey that he was looking to make.
Still got the D-ward on. Pretty important for him.
Any type of kill like that matters, though. You see how OG, they're really prioritizing playing a little more defensive now, sticking in their jungle, making sure they can farm this Gyrocopter up to that point where he can actually contest and take these fights. Really needing that BKB so he can counteract the Earthshaker as well as that Kunkka.
And not get enfeebled.
And not get enfeebled.
I mean, X-Nova, yeah, he's super low on net worth, but I still think he can do a lot of damage in these fights.
He's actually only done 1 point in it, though. I've seen him do the 4-4-1 a lot of times, but prioritizing the Nightmare a little bit more this game.
Pretty good at disabling the Underlord, as you saw.
As it looks like Ame does want to start to get involved with his team a bit here, as he's also going for a BKB. He had the SNY queued up initially, but...
No, he's certainly going to need it, as we're sort of saying, well, against the Gyro, against this Maelstrom with the Ags benefit of the IO down the lane.
It's going to make him unkillable. Yeah. He can't get picked off when he has BKB. If he has like Manta, some weird interaction could happen when he gets glimpsed or he gets caught in the silence initially, but now if he gets caught in the silence, when he gets the BKB, he'll be able to protect himself. As LGD, they are smoked, looking for something. X-Nova will at least get a ward out of this.
I'm a little bit worried for OG once these BKBs come out in team fights. They have almost nothing versus BKBs. I mean, maybe disrupt their Ags, but that's, you know, coming out 40, 45 minutes of the game, maybe.
Mid lane. PSG.LGD starting to move back towards Jerax and Anna. It's Jerax. He's looking for that room, but Chalice, he's there with the chase. They get the slow, they get the Fisher. There's Jerax who'll pop the glimmer, but there's the double dust as they'll find him. Catching at the eye, same time up top. Army looking for No-Tail. No-Tail trying to get out with the TP blade. He does escape. No-Tail will get out of there.
They tried to set up the kill, but the BKB just getting delivered. So these BKB timings are coming out on almost all of the floors of LGD. And like Ben said, it's very problematic for OG.
They're moving into Roshan now, PSG.LGD.
They really want to protect that Arcane Rune. I mean, it's a big deal at this point, too, for maybe.
I don't know what's going on, OG, but can they really contest this? Static Storm's being used. We saw the combo drop top. I believe Tornado's probably still on call. No, it's back up, because they have got the Tornado set up here from Thompson. But do they have the follow-up? But throw it in. Roshan still with a decent amount of health. He'll pop the Deafening Blast, pushing PSG.LGD out of the pit. But now Chalice is on the hunt. He's looking towards Thompson. Missile at the side will be dodged. Nice Nightmare from X-Nova, keeping FY safe. Chalice.
He's got the Spirit Vessel on him.
Can they kill him off? They've got the Cold Snap down. The wall as well to slow him, but he pops the dust. He pops the turnaround. X-Nova with the Fiend's Grip. The Torrent as well onto Thompson. Thompson's got Anna. Moving in with the BKB. He does not have the damage by this way. Chalice staying alive. Chalice, will he go down the Rocket Barrage? Does find it. Anna will get the kill onto the Enchantress. Jerax incredibly low as Arme. FY looking to chase him. He's got the Glimmer Cape, but he's been dusted. Jerax gets taken down.
Anna's got to go buy a TP. He will be okay. At least they don't find him.
You get the glimpse play out as well there, No-Tail, keeping himself and Seb safe for now. Say that though, they're still chasing the Fisher, the jump FY. In with the control, setting up for another kill for Arme. As PSG.LGD push OG away from the pit. Roshan's still sitting at about half health as Arme jumps straight back in. And we'll see if they can get away with this one. You're going to have Thompson back in the game in a couple of seconds. But they should have a good shot at finishing this one off in time without any sort of further interruptions coming out from OG.
The BKB timing's just, OG can't take the fights. They don't have the damage to go through it just yet.
And Invoker is supposed to be that big threat that pops the BKBs early. Like, yeah, you might not kill them, but you get those BKBs early so that everyone else can. But right now, it's just Anna dishing out a lot of damage in the team fights. Thompson's still struggling. I'm just really not sure how Thompson can have a huge impact at this stage in the game.
I think he's just going to have to act a lot more as just control and hope for the best that he's just like,
Wait
gyro.
for BKBs to get 5 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. Wait for those BKBs to tick down and hope that the gyro is able to take it away once he starts getting the enabled more by the IO, once he gets gifted that Aghanims when he's tethered.
Ooh, Chalice.
The dust?
He was ready there. I don't think it was sort of a body block or such, but he pops the dust. Seb does have backup though. He's got Anna and No-Tail in, the Static Storm down on top of the Enchantress, and they go over the cooldown. Seb, Anna pops the BKB. The Tornado's going to come in the side, catches the 2 of them. In fact, the 3 of them, setting them up. Somnus gets the BKB out though. Turns with the Tidebringer, hit Jerax. Cut down by Armes. Anna wanting to find Chalice. F5 post the Echo Slam, holding down Thompson on the side. Sets up Arme for the double kill. Somnus cleans up a 3rd. Seb's trying to get out of it, but he's not going to make it. Arme with the triple kill. As OG just cannot take a fully fledged team fight, as you're saying, with these BKBs on LGD. There just isn't the damage to kill off the cause in time as they only get Chalice and lose 4 themselves.
Like you feel for Jerax, right? Like in the game, if he's this IO trying to run around, but you actually can't run away. They can't stop these BKB cores just getting on top of him. And once that IO goes down, your gyrocopter's not nearly as strong.
OG are definitely expected to lose these team fights in the mid-game, but you're just trying to not lose them that badly. You don't want it to get to the point where they can just storm up their high ground. You know, you want a couple casualties, but still that's not great for OG. 4 for 1 is not really what you're aiming for.
Yeah, and every single time, too, we see the Rum coming out, right? We see Anna runs in, he's got the flak on, he starts dishing out some damage, but the Rum counteracts pretty much all of the combo that Gyro wants. You throw your call down, you get your flags going up, and you're like, wait, I'm not actually doing that much damage in this engagement.
And BKB comes out for maybe, and they just destroy Thompson right here. Great echo coming out from FY.
Just keeping Thompson away from getting out any more of his combo.
And Underlord dies last. That's the exact opposite of what you want in a team fight. You want him to get focused a little bit, but Jerax just can't do anything here.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder here for OG here in this game too. This whole game, this PL Arme just getting bigger and bigger. He's queuing up the MKB next as well. He's absolutely going to feel like this unstoppable force in these fights until, as you say, we either see later down the line, if it gets to that point, No-Tail being able to get an Aghanim Sept on the Disruptor, or if Anna's sort of able to get sort of that secondary damage item on top of the Maelstrom. Because at the moment, they are not killing this PL.
It's really just his Ags on Invoker. I think he needs to be able to force out the BKBs early, and then just disengage whatever way you can, maybe lose 1 or 2 heroes, and then you go in with the fight afterwards with your full arsenal. That's the best way for them to win a team fight.
It's FY. They found one another here. FY very tanky at the moment with that Ogre Club and Point Boost, who's got a lot of HP, as No-Tail has to be the one to look to hide. Straight into the trees, goes for the TP. FY doesn't quite get in range there to proc the stun.
Chalice to split up top. This is the kill they can look for here. They don't have Spirit Vessel charges just yet, though.
He's got the hood. We'll see if they've got enough damage with the combo. Chalice able to slide down to the low ground. He's running himself away. The cold snap, the right clicks. Can they actually kill this man with a hood? He's just way too durable. Jerax has to be very careful as they'll back away. They were never going to get that kill with just the two of them.
No Spirit Vessel.
No Vessel charge, yeah, exactly.
Without that, no way.
Somnus.
They have a ward. It's a little bit to the northeast. They don't see these two heroes, so they're kind of guessing.
Oh, Thompson walks in. He puts the tornado in the totally wrong direction, and now the combo from Somnus comes out. Drags Thompson back in. They've got the detection. As my goodness.
Maybe he's probably like, what? There's only 2 here? He bought this BKB for that.
And they'll get No-Tail too. Arme straight on top of the Disruptor. The carnage continuing to favor LGD as they just get pick-off after pick-off. Anna, we're seeing if he can strike back. FY quick with a blink out. Arme still looking to stick around for this. He will get rooted, but he knows that there's no real threat. OG just cannot get on top of him as top lane Jerax brought back, looks for the angle. Somnus with the cleave. Killing once again Jerax as Somnus continues this game. 7-1 and 6, having a huge impact from the laning stage right up until this 30-minute mark with a fantastic Kunkka performance.
And this Kunkka now has 3,200 health and a full AC coming out of the bottom.
It looks like FY is just starting to play around with him with the lockdown onto Seb. Seb's going to try and get himself out of there with the ultimate. Can he escape in time? He can! He gets them out. Seb will manage to get out, but Army was also very low. Army does, of course, still have the Aegis.
He was trying to die right there. He ran into the thunderstorm, but didn't get it.
There we go. They're going to need a little bit more of that magic, OG, if they want to come back into this one, but they will take that Aegis away. But as you said, LGD won't be too phased by that at all, as they were happy with it going nonetheless. It's top lane, Somnus. Looks for the cleave angle. Into Anna he goes. Anna getting dragged back into the torrent. Seb's going to come in as well as Jerax to look to help him out, and that will keep Anna fine. He's trying to turn, but Somnus pops the BKB. X-Nova's coming in as well on the Bane.
He's baiting them.
OG have to be careful. Chalice already there, looking towards Anna. Anna into the trees. The X-Mark coming out, but there's the relocate back out. The Eye will escape with Anna, but No-Tail's in trouble. Arme again, just swarming on top of the Disruptor. Picking up these kills, the Sunstrike off the mark, as again, LGD just keeping everyone alive, growing this lead, 13k advantage.
He just knows how tanky he really can be. He pops the rum, gets the ghost ship off, of course, holds that BKB, waits till his team starts approaching, and they get themselves a kill out of it. It was a really nice ulti from No-Tail, though, on that Disruptor, catching 3 of them inside the Static Storm. Could have costed them more heroes if he didn't connect like that. There's that 13k advantage and a 20,000 experience advantage going for LGD.
Except they're almost up for Top Sun. Maybe they can put up some sort of fight around the Roche pit. I think that's actually where OG need to make their next hold. They're actually really good about fighting around the pit and just dumping spells in there with all these melee heroes on the side of LGD. Enchantress kind of has to be a melee hero inside the pit because she needs to tank Roche.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of item timings all coming in together at the same time. You had Thompson's Aghanim's going to be finished up. They've also got the IO hitting level 15 after that last fight. So little things starting to build up for them. And of course, you know, Sab, the Underlord, who's been farming very, very well this game, has the 3 big items that he wants. Hasn't actually gone for the mech, though, or Guardian Greaves this game.
Spot him.
Yeah, his biggest problem is sleep.
Yeah. Oh.
Somnus just every time finding the setup. That double damage rune certainly helping as well to pack that Tidebringer with the punch it needs to cut down the IO as quickly as he did.
And Somnus loves to just tank up on these strength heroes. As the break comes out, they find out.
They have, and he's all alone. There's no IO in the game. FY Echo Slam, Chain Stun holding him down. PSG.LGD just ruling the game at the moment by quite some distances. It's just looking almost impossible for OG to come back into this game too.
When your most farmed core dies to the 2 supports, you know you're in some trouble.
It's now PSG.LGD into the base they go. The fortification comes out. Sep will try his best to hold them. The Nightmare's there from X-Nova. Thompson's going to get controlled here by the side of Somnus again with the X-Mark play, dragging Thompson back into the clutches of FY's hands as Thompson's gone for 50 seconds.
And that's a buyback from Ana too. He's coming back in.
See if they can do anything about Ame. Ame pops the BKB, tries to get himself on top of Jarek. The dust out as well. Ana trying to hit back, but Ame just stands his ground. BKB now out from Ana. They do get X-Nova on the Bane as Chalice. He's just diving in, finds Notella with the impetus. Chalice again. The plays bringing Jarek's over. Jarek's will survive with the Glimmer K. The vision wasn't quite there for the last impetus to connect, but they're 2 down on OG. Now make that 3 as Ana jumped up by FY. Seb surrounded. The torrent up. Somnus in with the physical damage. Seb will fall. The buyback comes out from Seb, but LGD still looking strong to take this tier 3 tower down bottom, take even more as they're onto the barracks. As OG, they're without this Gyrocopter for 75 seconds. They could not hold with Ana, let alone without him.
They're just so tanky on the side of LGD. All of their heroes. Chalice just runs in without fear because they've all got these BKBs. Ame went for a satanic build so he can actually stand in the midst of all this AoE and just keep fighting over and over again.
And Rum.
And the Rum. Over and over again.
As Ame just trading onto top, so the cold snap does come out. Ame quick with the doppelganger to remove it. Fish is down, but the glimpse is there. Big Daddy drags Ame back into the static storm. He's surrounded. They'll look to kill him off, but he's got the life steal. The satanic. Ame back up to half health. He pops the BKB. They cannot kill this PL. He's on the retreat back to his teammates. Do they have any other further catch? They've got to be careful because Somnus turns up. The boat comes in. BKB's out from Somnus. Looks for the combo to do them, and FY jumps in to the creep wave. The Echo Slap takes down Notella. Fisher onto Thompson and Seb. OG have to back away from these racks as LGD are looking to claim a second set. The Crimson Guard will be popped, trying to slow down this siege. But LGD will get away with it. There's going to be Ana back up in 15 seconds, but the melee racks are taken in both the middle lane and the bot lane, as well as the range racks down bottom. PSG/LGD now 25,000 ahead.
Oh, looks like they learned a lesson from Game 3 yesterday.
Yeah. They're feeling super confident in this game. When you see their, the PL gets glimpsed back into the midst of everybody and able to turn that fight into the satanic, you're definitely feeling really good. And another DD picked up for Somnus. I was mentioning, he loves his heart on the strength heroes. I think I've been seeing him buying on like every single one of them. The Tiny, Kunkka.
He gets in there first. It's actually him most of the time rather than Ame that starts off the fight.
Thompson is in trouble. The jump forward from FY. The boat comes through. The Tidebringer from Somnus as he pops the double damage out of the bottle. Looks towards Notel. Notel hiding in the trees. They'll turn to Ana. Ana with a BKB, but Ana had to be careful. The Tidebringer hits. Somnus just doing so much damage, but Ana will survive. BKB and Glimmer caked out. Ana gets himself back towards the base, but they'll jump on top of Jarek. Seb now surrounded. He'll pop the ult. Should be enough to get him out in time. But the X again. Somnus with the Kunkka play brings the Underlord straight back into the hands of LGD. As now Seb dead for 100 seconds. PSG/LGD ready to storm the base once again, looking towards these mid-range racks. The tier 2's gone from all lanes so they can open up towards the Megas. Jerax will buy back. They've got Thompson back up in 10 seconds. But with a 28k advantage favoring LGD, can OG really do anything to stop this? It looks at the least that the Mega Creeps will be guaranteed. As the racks up top will fall. Thompson looking to lead in with the combo, but again the boat straight on top of Ana. Somnus is in. They do manage to get the Glimmer Cape onto Ana. Ana backs away. Thompson with the Ghost Walk, keeping himself alive with the dust. They've got the dust. The Thompson dead. Thompson gone. As Jarek's and Ana. Whoa! Chalice again. These impetuses too hard for this IO to play against. As they're 3 dead on OG. PSG/LGD with a full lineup still alive. As they look towards the mid lane, and GG is called. Ladies and gentlemen, PSG/LGD taking Game 2 of the best of 5 grand finals here at TI8. And that one, it didn't look close at all. This was PSG/LGD through and through. OG maybe going sort of a new strat too far in this game too, trying something a little off the wall with the Underlord pick, but it never really came together.
LGD seemed so prepared for this draft. They were like, okay, the IO Gyro's coming out. They seem to get exactly what they wanted in this game. This Kunkka last pick did so much work, and pointing out Thompson ended this game 0-12.
Oh my goodness, man. That was
a rough start for him.
It was a rough one. We've seen some fantastic stuff from Thompson, but this game he just couldn't quite kick it off on the Invoker. As there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, Game 2 going the way of LGD as the series now stands 1-1.
Thank you, gentlemen. Indeed, tied 1-1 between PSG/LGD and OG. We're here at the panel with SVG, MSS, and Nahaz joining us. And gentlemen, I mean, we have a series, right? Tied 1-1. We're going to at least a game 4 between the two best teams at this TI. But game 2 looked very different from game 1, SVG.
I mean, that was the Somnus M show for sure.
For sure.
This guy wins his lane. He rotates to the side lanes. He wins them the team fights. He's scaling on a Kunkka. The Somnus show through and through.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say to that, Nahaz? I mean, we could try to put numbers to it, etc. But this one was pretty straightforward, it feels.
I mean, when you come to play on the final day of TI, you got to come to play. And Somnus, I don't know that I had seen anybody go 15-10 versus versus Sumail's 6-0 at the 3-minute mark as he did earlier today. And he's continued that laning dominance into this series. He just shuts down so much of what OG has tried to do. There have been 2 times that OG has had all their tier 1s taken before 15 minutes, and they're the last 2 game 3 of their previous series and that last game against LGD.
Yeah, I mean, MS says we talked a lot about Thompson through and through here on the panel on multiple occasions, but this time he didn't really stand much of a chance.
Yeah, I believe both teams kind of have like a similar playstyle. Like they're mid, they're tempo controllers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, this time, Thompson, he didn't have a game. Meanwhile, Somnus, he destroyed his lane and he got to rotate. But Thompson was behind and he couldn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that says a lot about who these 2 teams are, right? I mean, they're the final 2 for a reason, and it could go either way at any given moment. I mean, to talk me through this game 2, PSG.LGD coming in looking so much more dominant, right? Whereas OG game 1, it looked like it could go one way or the other, but OG had a pace. PSG.LGD seems to have the momentum now.
I think when you think of LGD versus OG, the biggest difference to me is LGD's laning phase. They're almost undoubtedly going to come out with some advantage in the laning phase. To me, it's about how can OG limit the bleeding during those first 10 minutes. And then after that, once you get into the mid game, the late game, this is where OG gets to play their style. This is where they're going to come back with big AoE team fighters, the Gyrocopter, the Spectre, like Anna's PL. They start to scale, they build that momentum, and this is when you can kind of take advantage of some of these earlier picks like Enchantress that are lane dominators, but is it really going to be the hardest scaling hero when it gets to those late game team fights?
Yeah, that is absolutely spot on. No surprise. I mean, OG have handled that transition from the laning phase into the mid game and applying pressure throughout the map probably better than any other team in the tournament. But let's not forget, okay, they won that series in the winners bracket final, but that game 3, the lanes went very much against them. And this is once again starting to feel the same way, like LGD have that laning formula kind of figured out. And it just felt like in that last game, without the Jerax Earthshaker, OG wasn't able to turn those fights in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me about that Earthshaker. Yapster still holds true so far. Wherever the Earthshaker goes, the W follows. How important do you think that's going to be for the rest of the series? I mean, it has to be much more high priority than it was when we first started.
I mean, when it comes to these big team fight supports, Earthshaker is one of the best. When it comes down to TI, it's usually these big AoE team fighters. They become king pretty much, and I think that's why Spectre was a very important tool for them. I'm just wondering what OG is going to do about the Enchantress, because I feel like it's giving them too much of a trouble in the laning phase. Because they can't fall back on this Spectre hero anymore because it's being banned. They tried the Isle Jaro, but it's not the same.
Right. Yeah, that was actually one of the questions I had watching that, right? It does seem like that Enchantress coming in pretty strong against OG. I mean, Nahaz, what are your thoughts? What can OG do given some of their past picks? Can they work something out here?
I mean, I do think that you have to try a little bit more to match up against LGD in these lanes. It's not a trivial thing to do, and that's how they've beaten so many teams on this main stage. But Chalice is just playing out of his mind in this event. This guy, he was a utility offlaner for most of the year. He's the guy that sort of brought back the pipe Crimson Guard Doom. He was sort of the do more with less kind of offlaner, and then all of a sudden in this tournament, they're putting him on these heroes like Weaver and Enchantress who are very active around the map, very farm dependent, and he's just completely changed his style and is playing amazing individual Dota.
He will carry you, right?
Yeah.
Any of the core players on LGD can carry a given game.